exactly. And do you think, in regards to the education that you're going towards, what you've obviously described is not necessarily just, exterior and interior and color and trim and UI UX and everything is going to be done by someone differently, because we're talking about an overall experience, and you have the haptical point of the experience. So the understanding of, every designer working on these products needs to be much more than maybe just a little island that they prefer to be on, such as exterior only. Um, I'm not saying everybody's going to be like that. I'm pretty sure there's going to be absolute specialists and, like, these masterminds that will only be working on exteriors. But how do you react to that this multidiscipline, knowledge and, opportunity comes in now, and explain that to the students, and also explain it to, the people working on these projects, like Ford, like FCA, like GM, of course in Detroit, is to say, like, maybe you don't need an exterior guy anymore. You just need an understandable designer who knows, what's going on around him, because with these new technologies you have to be able to adapt. You have to have a certain background, maybe, to a certain degree in engineering as well, to understand what's required from me, because otherwise we're just going back to styling and somebody is putting it into production.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. Well, one thing that we definitely are doing is we're doing a lot of collaboration. Um, when a company or a philanthropist comes to CCS with a project, um, that's a collaboration between the faculty and the company, and um, and it's also a collaboration between the students and um, the company and the faculty. So we try to set it up as close to a professional design scenario as possible. For example, when FCA came to us about a just I think it was just 1 year ago. Um, they return every year and a half on a rotation, so we're really fortunate to have their support. But this last year, what we did is we collaborated between the
The collaboration with FCA and the others.
right. So we pulled three departments together for that collaboration, which was really really cool. Um, so we did an exterior class, we did a architectural interior class, and we did a fashion accessories class. And all three of those classes, students from each of those classes were teamed up into teams of three to design a brand experience. So we didn't do the interior that semester, but I'll get to another project where we did. That semester, the brand experience was about, okay, you have this beautiful exterior design, and then you have a brand experience showroom, much like what Tesla's been doing in malls and things like that, circumventing the dealership model. And then you also have brand line extensions in terms of accessories and things like that. So, as you can buy Ferrari branded shoes and Porsche branded sunglasses, what if Dodge or Ram had and Jeep and Fiat and Alfa and Maserati? What if each one of those had a different brand experience? And Ralph was really thrilled with that project, and it really set off a kind of a new way of collaborating within the schools. So we had three different classes, three different instructors, all collaborating, students from each class on a team collaborating, and it really came off really well. And then the following year, this was just this last fall, we did a Cadillac project where we had color and materials teaming up with interior design students, and that was just stunning. The students took it to a new level. Um, and then this last semester, we had interior design students collaborating with exterior design students, addressing um, the future potential brand width of the Ford Mach E. I guess they're considering um, taking the Mach E Mustang into its own brand and having multiple sort of uh, uh, lifestyle vehicles, I suppose. all branded under the Mustang badge. So that was a really interesting project. When it comes to drilling down and specializing in one thing or another, that's always been something that I've pushed back against. When I was at Ford, I was first hired at Ford in the back in the 80s. There was really no distinction. They moved us around. I did interiors, I did exteriors, and always working closely with the engineers and the color materials specialists. But when I was at Honda, it was you were either interior or exterior, and you'd never cross that line. And I thought that was kind of unfortunate. At Honda, we were very, very specialized, and you know, I asked if I could do an interior project next, after I had done multiple exteriors, and they were like, "No, we really want you to just do the exterior of this next project." So I did an interior on my own time, just to sort of complete the vision. And I've been talking a lot about specializing, and in fact, that's what I call them in our department at CCS. You can specialize in exterior, interior vehicles, which is vocational or recreational, and then mobility, which is fleets for shared use. So that's the way I break it down. But um, I'm thinking now that the term specialization isn't something that I really want to promote, because I think in the gig economy, students or designers will need to be able to apply their skill set to any given problem. Some things are just so specialized, like graphic design, um, just because it entails another level of software knowledge at a very, minute scale in order to really do it well. You have to be a master of a whole different set of Adobe Suite to do that really well. But the design process doesn't change. So you're working closely with people who are like-minded in terms of the design process, who have specializations. Now, some students, like in this last semester, Ford was blown away. I was blown away. And in the fall semester as well with Cadillac. Students are, the more savvy students are teaching themselves software that we're not offering in the department, or at least we weren't offering, but we're going to offer now, and that's like Unreal Engine and Unity, right? These animation platforms are becoming, they're actually gaming platforms, but you can use them for animation. They're becoming so user friendly that a smart, savvy student can teach themselves. So instead of using VRED, we're going to introduce different kinds of software platforms, at least at an introductory level. So there's at the very least, exposure to these different things that other uh, departments in corporate structure might be using. Um, but if you happen to find yourself as an independent designer or starting a carrozzeria, you have at least an introductory knowledge of all these other disciplines as well, and you have a solid foundation in the design process.